Good afternoon, Andrew. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule and getting involved in Business Owner Spotlight. Please go ahead, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do in your company.
Good afternoon. What a pleasure to do this afternoon. Very, very grateful, Scott, indeed. Tremendous. So my name's Andrew. I'm the Chief Executive of Plaswire Limited.
Okay. We
are specialists in industrial reprocessing. We take waste polymers from industry, we put it back into the supply chain. But we do it in a very special way. We have niches. So we work with the aviation sector, and we know ourselves to be quite unique dealing with the interior plastics that come out of cabin manufacturing. But over the years, we've thought, well, how can we do something better for humanity? And we've developed a technology to process the waste that nobody else wants to deal with. This is mixed residual packaging waste that comes out of biodigesters, waste management centers, processing centers, and currently it gets incinerated. So for Northern Ireland, for example, which is a small country of 2 million people, 200,000 tons of this waste is incinerated every year. We've developed a technology to blend, process, and create a single homogenized polymer from these wastes. Waste that wouldn't normally mix. We've got PVC and polyethylene, for example. Nylon mixing in there with ABS. It's quite unique, and we didn't really understand what we'd done till we grasped it and moved forward with it. And by doing that, we can process 30,000 tons eventually in Northern Ireland of this waste. This year, we're heading towards 10,000 tons. And every ton we process, it offsets 3 tons of carbon dioxide that would have occurred from incinerating that waste. And then it also offsets another 3 tons of carbon dioxide because it replaces virgin plastics and concrete. Concrete itself is the world's biggest emitter of carbon dioxide during manufacture. And close behind that are industries such as aviation. We went further with this and we thought we have this marriage with the aviation sector. How can we help them more? So we looked at what do we do with the carbon fiber? And we found there's a way to do that as well. What do we do with the wind farms? And we found we could work with that as well. So now Plaswire is growing very fast. Last year we grew 54%.
Okay.
This year we're on track to do 150% growth. And we are probably the only company in the world that is truly repurposing these wastes, preventing them from being incinerated, and creating sustainable products with them that substitute for existing products in high energy sectors. We're excited about this, and it's rolling, and the universities we work with are just really bigging up with us. We've got great support from people, and we've done it ourselves. We've self-financed, and we've had in the background various people encouraging us, such as Amazon, such as Siemens, Boeing, Micromatic, all sorts of companies. It's tremendous, and we have to grow with this now.
It sounds so exciting, and just as totally new to it, if I can just sort of make sure I've grasped it right. So for 1 ton of plastic, if you incinerate it, it generates 3 tons of carbon dioxide. Is that right?
3 tons of carbon dioxide, yes.
And then on top of that, to the what you'll be able to repurpose it into would take the equivalent of 3 tons of carbon dioxide. So for everything that you repurpose, it's actually a net effect of saving 6 tons of carbon. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
And then I'm assuming what about the product that you repurpose? Does that go back to the could that be anybody use that, or?
That's it. You see, people get stuck in this concept of closed loop. Now, frankly, you can't take polymers out of an aircraft and anticipate a willingness from the airframe builders to put a recycled product back into their aircraft. There's just far too much at risk.
Sure.
So for them, it's content to know that their waste is replacing a virgin product somewhere else.
Yeah. So that is that their net carbon footprint is being reduced by you.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a massive win for them as well, then.
Massive win. So we call this product RX polymer, and we can make sheet with it. We can make all sorts of extruded products with it, molded products, and we've invested already in 3 production lines, and all ready to go now.
Fantastic. And all self-financed and all based in Northern Ireland.
All self-financed, all based in Northern Ireland, yes.
It's phenomenal. And so just again, so like you're sort of 10,000 tons of repurposed,
yeah,
but that will be like a net effect of 30,000 tons of carbon saved. Is that right? 60,000. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
So if you take 2 million in Northern Ireland, the project is totally scalable. The industry dealing with the part of a precast concrete sector, it's 2.3 billion pounds a year. It's a colossal industry. And a lot of that material we can't replace. There's an awful lot we can replace. By doing that, we're cutting down on quarrying, cutting down on all sorts of things, and just making the world a better place, and using the garbage that's lying around to actually be a very valuable commodity for society.
Yeah, so I mean, it's another win then. So like say the aircraft industry or whoever it is you can work with, are they selling you this product or the waste essentially instead of sending it off to be incinerated? What way does that work?
We charge them for it because we are.
Okay, you're repurposing.
They don't have a solution for, and it's by being able to charge them for that service that it makes the whole project economic.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So honestly, I'm blown away. I think that's such a massive opportunity, and I'm struggling to get my head around the possibilities with it. As you say, it's just such a small country of 2 million people. What's possible across the world if it's scalable?
Well, we've already started discussions with some people in the Czech government,
okay,
with some authorities in Morocco, and our aim is to get a plant in Southern Ireland,
okay,
several plants in GB, and then work with people at the wind turbine blade companies to see where do they need these plants placing. And everywhere, everybody's got this residual waste. Away the sweet rubber kicking along the road.
Okay.
There's a colossal amount. One waste treatment plant alone in Manchester, just one, produces 25 tons a day.
Wow. So I'm assuming if you get speaking to the right person, you rarely would get any pushback on this kind of project coming to their area. Is that right?
The biggest challenge we've had is letting people know that this is genuine and it's real, because there's an awful lot of businesses out there are offering you snake oil. We have the physical products to show people.
Yeah.
And that's the incredible thing. And then as this rolls, people are just going to want to do it more and more. And I would love to see this project duplicated in every country in the world. And the reduction in carbon could be so massive, much quicker than some of these government projects for capturing carbon and so forth. This is very tangible. It's really
well, like if I can get my head around it, and like, I mean, I just can't imagine the impact it's going to have. Like it's huge.
Yep.
It's so exciting. So, and as you say, you just sort of didn't even realize yourselves what you'd come across.
It's about, we saw the challenge, and I guess I must be a very creative person, truthfully, and just had to work out how to do it. I'd had this problem put in front of me several times over the years, and I just thought there has to be a solution for it.
Yeah, it's if I think about my own sort of rubbish bin, I mean, there's all sorts of different plastics, but you've found a way to make them all mix together and be usable.
In simple terms, yeah. Now we can replace precast concrete. So we've spoken with major contractors in the UK and Ireland about the problems they have on the highways. One of the big problems they have is the gully that takes the rainwater off the road. You see the cast iron grid on the side of the road there taking the rainwater. Underneath it is a concrete structure, precast concrete, and the lorries banging over there day in, day out. They destroy it. It cracks it, and the frost comes along and the water freezes and the concrete cracks. So we are now prototyping replacements for those, which are more durable, more easy to handle. They weigh less than half of the original product, look the same, function the same, and will last longer, and can be fully recycled afterwards. We can take them back.
Okay, well, look, you know what? I am totally taken with this. Who do you need to speak to? I mean, I don't have a massive network, but I'll push this as much as I can. So, what sort of people need to see this and contact you and get involved to help push this along?
We need to speak to the producers of difficult plastics. Farmers want pharmaceuticals have all sorts of plastics that they can't really recycle because they're wonderful pieces of equipment they have, which keep us alive and keep us safe, have a multiple form of plastics in them, and it just can't be separated easily. And then wind turbine manufacturers, of course, and we're dealing at the moment with the world's biggest wind farm operator. The aviation companies, we have fairly good relations with them, which we're developing. But then we also need to speak to government authorities and environmental agencies to let them know this is a solution. And if they got the opportunity to support this, they can bring about net zero in their country much, much faster than they ever thought possible.
There you are, folks. So if you fit in any of those categories, let's get you guys connected. I'm already thinking of a few people I want to reach out to. So more about you as a business owner then, or as a CEO, Andrew. How long have you been involved with this company?
Well, I set this company up in another guise back in 2004.
Okay.
We've developed. I've run factories out in China and done construction projects out in Malaysia. I came from a plastics background and I came from a waste background, and it all sort of caught up with me again, you see. So we built this new factory. We self-financed this factory in 2018 on a 4.5 acre site, and we've expanded that now to 9.5 acres, and we've doubled the factory unit in the process. We built the factory, incidentally, on a green field in 10 weeks. Now, truly, we started from a green field, and we were operating in a 2,000 square meter factory with the machines running in 10 weeks.
Okay, so that must have taken a fair bit of planning.
A bit of planning. It took a lot of dedication, and it took the need to understand the parties involved. And only by doing that, we enabled what would typically be an 18-month project to become a 3-month project and less. It worked.
And is that something like, had you done anything like that before, Andrew?
Well, I'd done the opposite. I'd worked out in projects in Malaysia, and the Malaysian pace of business can sometimes be pretty cool, pretty calm, pretty easy. And although we had a 1-year contract to build a foundry, it took 10 years in the end.
Okay.
I learned I could find all the things that just wouldn't work there because they couldn't get this to work and that to work. And it was the nature of the culture, and great project to do and the loveliest of people to work with. And that probably helped me a lot.
So yeah, so I mean, there's 2 things you've touched on there. Is the vision. You knew what you wanted to do, and then you had the right culture to help you do it. And I assume then you just had to figure out the mission and communicate that to everybody involved. That's and understand the other parties involved you mentioned there as well.
Yep. So it's understanding your parties, communicating well with them. And then you mentioned vision. Vision is something which isn't fixed. You've got to have that horizon, but realize, just like the explorers, as you drive forward, you're going to see more. Yeah. And then you might tack a little bit different. You might see an iceberg coming. Sure. Or you might see the palm trees of a tropical island there. You might want to head towards that, whatever. But yes, your vision has to expand, and you have to take advantage of the stars that you see, the planets that you see. And I don't mean that in any astrological sort of way, but I mean just things that appear on the horizon that give you opportunity.
Yeah. That's a brilliant analogy. I hadn't come across that before. So just if you could even dial that back, I mean, I'm assuming like 2004, as we touched on when you set your company up, that wasn't your first company. So if we could talk to maybe somebody who's right at the start of their journey, maybe one-man band or maybe 2 or 3 people in the business, what would you say to them about vision?
Right, about vision. Don't be scared of it, but talk to people about it. I can tell you how badly people can understand vision, and I point to myself. Years ago, somebody showed me a sat nav.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, that's a joke. because I can navigate everywhere off my nose, you see. But no, a brilliant thing. So talk to people, but believe in it in the sense that just make sure you're right. Keep checking back that you're right. Go beyond belief, because belief is wanting it to be true. If you've got a real vision, you'll know it's going to be true.
Sure.
So go past the word vision, past that word belief, and don't allow the word hope into your business.
Yeah.
Hope is not a way to run anything.
No.
Absolutely never.
And what about, well, how would you speak to those guys more generally then?
Generally, I would say to them, a big important thing to say is, will you help me? Whoever it is, can you help me? I need help. And the help that's available when you express a need for that help is all over the place. That comes in everything from being able to afford something, being able to delay a payment, for getting access to something so you can see what other people are doing. And underneath that is a real thing, which is, I don't know. When you accept that you don't know, you can get out there and learn and grow your knowledge, grow your vision, and grow your personal potential.
Yeah, and it takes a fair bit of courage to accept that, doesn't it?
It does take courage, yes. Got to be fearless, because there isn't much to fear really when you understand it.
Yeah, fair point. And what about your own journey then? Is there anything you would have done differently along the way, even from 2004?
Anything I would have done differently? Well, there's some personal circumstances I wouldn't bring into the screen here, but notwithstanding that, I would have been braver.
Okay.
More risk. I would have taken on more professional people who had skills that I didn't have.
Okay.
Because what I did find, every time I did have to take someone on because of some circumstance, like I was in a road traffic accident one time, it did me no harm, but it did me an awful lot of good, because I got on board someone who was going to take me forward.
It's back to that, admitting I don't know. Somebody might be able to do something better than me in my business.
That's right, yeah.
And again, it takes courage to make the investment of employing somebody.
Someone said to me one time, why do you want me to come and work for you? And I said, because you know more than I do. I looked at me sideways. I said, but you do. And I can kid myself, and I can be vain, and I can be arrogant, and I can be burdened with ego. All those things hold me back.
So I'm sensing that you've been around business a little while, Andrew, and I'm keen to understand, what is it that keeps you excited? Why do you keep enjoying it?
I enjoy it because I know I'm doing the right thing.
Sure. It's bigger than this. What you're involved in now is bigger than you. Is that what you mean?
Bigger than me. And I just said today to somebody, this will always be bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to find the people to help us cope with it.
Yeah. Good problem to have in business.
Yeah. We need people bigger than the business we have now.
Yeah.
Who can be comfortable in a business which is a multiple of what we are today.
Yeah.
Probably more than twice the size at the end of this year. And probably the way things are looking, will more than double the next year as well. That's a lot of management, a lot of skills. You need the people who know the world in a bigger place. So you don't have to try and learn the way up there. And get them to bring you up. And hold your hand and get you up onto that next platform.
So, Andrew, this has been an amazing chat. I'm genuinely excited about your project, your product, and how you're delivering it, and a local company, as I say, playing on the global stage, which I love as well. But just before we go, you said there you've got a vision, obviously, for your company to multiply in terms of the size of it, and really bring people in to cope with it. I mean, what do you feel are going to be the main challenges for you moving forward, say even in the next 5 years?
Yeah, there are some very key challenges. One, of course, is getting the right team together.
Sure.
The other is dealing with attrition.
Yeah.
And we've already seen that, where people can't cope with the change. They resist the change. They actually block the change.
Right, okay.
And they hold the business back. But it's not my problem. They have to accept that this isn't the world for them, and they need an environment which is more suited to them.
Sure.
But if I adjust the business in that way, it's not the right thing to do.
No.
And at the same time, it's absolutely empirical that you love your employees. You take great care of them, you understand them, you know their family, you know their circumstances, and you make sure that they come to work and they're safe and comfortable. So, yeah, you'll have attrition, but it won't be out of disrespect.
Yes, just wrong fit.
This world's not for me anymore. It's too fast. It's too this. It's too that. I don't want the change. I don't want the digitization, whatever it might be. So the challenges for us, also about digitizing, making sure we keep up to date with what we're doing and keep ahead. Get digitized in every possible way. And the vision for us is to have these company units around the world, maybe part owned by other people, but they're all running off the same software platform. They're all integrated. They've all got the same ethos about them, and they all work like clones.
Well, look, it sounds simple, but I imagine it's not going to be easy. So I wish you well with it, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey so far, Andrew. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Scott. It's a real big pleasure indeed, Jeff. Good way to start the Monday. Yep. Take care.